Good morning, everyone. We will make it in English because there is a problem with the translator, so hopefully you can understand us. I'm going to open my questions. Okay, so let's go first roundtable. If someone came last year, you will miss Rob here, Rob Salman, because we was the same table. So in Cannabis Hub, we decided to repeat again the table with Carola and Pablo, and just have a overlook about what is happening in Spain. I guess there is people from other countries here that they want to know what is happening in Spain, which one are the expectations, if there is a future for medical cannabis. We will talk about all that stuff. My idea was to, because we have just 30 minutes, so my idea is to make 4 blocks, if it's possible. First one will be the status of the actual regulation. Second one is what means this regulation for the patients and which alternatives they have right now. Third block on our lovely agency in Spain, AMPS, and how is working the agency with the license and the ecosystem of license. Obviously, we are not like Rebecca was mentioning in Portugal, 61 license, which in reality I think is around 35, and probably operating is like 8 to 10 or selling products. So in Spain, it's quite different because there is only 5 licenses for produce medical products, and we are around 15 licenses working on research, which is a difference on innovation between other countries. I haven't seen so many research licenses in other countries of Europe. So, and the last block is what happened with the clinical trials, and if it's possible, pilot programs for access to medical cannabis. So I will start with Carola. You closed now, like let's say AIRA with the observatory. So which one you think is the status right now? No, because we are waiting to Spanish government deliver the proposal, the decree to Europe. Funny that they are talking to Europe, but in any case, probably they will win time with this. But once that they release finally the decree, they need to do the pharmacopoeia and the national vision, and from there start a long process that hopefully is not going to be like in Portugal. Like, I think the last data that I have is just less than 50 kilos in pharmacies distributed on flowers, no prescription, a completely fail on the model. So which one are your expectations? So if you can provide us a status of the situation in Spain.
Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Cannabis Hub and CDays for having us. Talking about a reality that we have been talking so many years, and we have been going through a cruel roller coaster for everybody, for the industry, for the patients, and we have been dealing with a lot of pressure. So what I can tell you right now is that the minister, the last news I have from 2 days ago, is that the minister closed the door to talk to the patients anymore. Because I don't know if you saw the last article we made in El Mundo. It was 2 days in the cover. And our speech is that the program that is going to be made in Spain is going to be a failure. The patients are going to be back in the black market. And for example, for we patients with pain, we have to go under all the treatments, neurostimulators, and also ketamine. So cannabis will go after ketamine. And as you already know, the Spanish government decided not to give approval to private clinics because they said it's a conflict of interest when the same professionals that see me in the morning, then they work in private practices in the afternoon. So it's the same professionals. So they start accusing the patients and the physicians to conflict of interest and to the patients to give our products to third parties. No? So we started this journey with the Minister of Health don't trust in us. And also the reality is that we are the 7th producer of medical cannabis in Europe. As many of you know, in Spain, the agency is having a strong regulatory issues, quality controls. And these flowers that they are producing in Spain, I see them in Switzerland, I see them in Italy, I see them in UK, but I cannot take them in Spain. So yeah, this is the situation right now. What they told us is the royal decree is going to be ready before summer, but now we don't know what's going to happen. And yeah, it's a great failure. We have been, as much as you know, we have been working in the Spanish observatory with science, with researchers, with physicians, with patients. And we try so hard, as I said the other day in my LinkedIn post, but sometimes you cannot keep fighting against a wall and kicking your head against a wall because we know that for the moment, nothing is going to happen. So I'm happy that we have been the icebreaker in Spain because it has not been easy at all. The party from the government didn't want to do it. They didn't want us. And what we achieved is a great step for some societies of clinicians, but of course for us it's not enough. It's not going to work. And the patients are going to be in the black market while the companies are still producing products for other countries. Like in Portugal, we have the same issue as Portugal.
Yeah, funny. So in any case, how do you see the political and institutional landscape evolving regarding the cannabis regulation in Spain? I mean, which one is the balance between the parties, or the main two parties have a similar position on this?
We are not the priority. The Minister of Health used cannabis for a political fight in Madrid with the President of Madrid. They have the regulation of cannabis in their program in the last elections, but as one person told me from the government, once you are in the red carpet, everything changes. So for the moment, we don't have, even the PNV, we don't have any contact. No one is talking to us. We have been inviting also to Pharma Forum to come and speak. They don't reply to anything. And we are in a limbo where we have to figure it out by ourselves and try to help each other and wait to see what's going on in the next months. But we said enough is enough. And we have been making 500 interviews. You guys know that we have fought a lot. But if they don't want to do it, sometimes you need to rest, you need to stop, and you need to see from another perspective how to continue the fight.
So maybe you think like the strategy needs to be redesigned? I mean, you started, no? When we started the platform Regulación Responsable, then the medical cannabis decided to open a line and try to fight this regulation from one side. It's been 7-8 years.
10 years.
10
the
years.
observatory is
Wow.
10 years now, yeah.
So don't you think maybe the strategy needs to be redesigned, or there is any alternative, because it's quite dark, the future you are presenting, no?
Well, the future that I'm presenting is the reality. So I don't think that going all together again is going to work. As we already seen in Germany, what we receive from the German patients is they are really, really suffering a lot because of reimbursement and these kind of issues. These companies giving you prescriptions per €1, you can drive with cannabis. So this is also hurting Spain. I received some message from the government with some of these screenshots from these companies saying, so this is the model you want in Spain, Carola? So also the issues that happen in other countries affect us, and also France, also Portugal, Belgium, Austria, Sweden. There is a lot of countries Europe, I think, is divided with the cannabis issue. And I think the perspective and the next goal is to be united, continue working in the groups with the patients associations from all over Europe. But I don't think Europe now has cannabis as a priority with everything going on politically.
So, Pablo, from your perspective and your expertise on the pharma industry, how do you see the regulators, especially the agency, AMPS, and which role is playing the AMPS against doing an effective regulation, and which perspective we can have in a pharma industry about the cannabis?
Okay, first of all, thank you to invite me to this meeting. Well, I have to say that what Carola is saying about what is happening with the politics and the cannabis is something quite similar in the part of the industry. I think that they have no real interest in to develop the market, in to develop the segment of produce medicinal cannabis in Spain. So the regulation in Spain is quite tough, and it's tougher every day. And one of the things that for us is is most difficult is that there is not a clear framework. So we don't know exactly what they are asking us or what they will ask us in the future. And every day we have to fight with different regulations, different point of view, different papers that we have to submit, and it is really difficult. If you see, there are only 5 licensed to produce cannabis in Spain, and in fact, we are only 2 companies that are producing cannabis in Spain. The rest are
the process.
Small ones. So I think that we have the same problem as the patient, is that we need to open a space to exchange information with them, that they understand what we are doing, that we understand what they want to do in terms of control and regulation, and try to find a way to cooperate. But it is tough because they are quite blocked, and every day is more and more difficult.
So, I mean, I think Spain is one of the biggest and strong pharma lobbies. So which one is your opinion about that the big pharma is pushing back this regulation of that there is interest? This is is objective thinking, because most of the civil society is always saying oh, these guys from Linneo, they come from Alcaliber, from the pharma industry, they will block the industry. So is the big pharma blocking this industry in Spain, or in reality there is too much stigma, and the stigma, the prohibition against the cannabis is affecting this position of the agency, no?
I don't think the big pharma is blocking. I think the big pharma is playing their role. They try to get access to this market, but by their ways, with the synthetics of the cannabinoids and doing all the things, not just going in the same way as we are doing. But I think in my experience, the agency always move pushing by the politics. If there is a political, political movement in favor of anything, they move in the same way. Something that happens with the generic drugs in the past. The generic drugs was, everybody was against the generic. Nobody wants to generic in the market. Once the politics start pushing the generics, the agency changed their mind and open spaces for cooperate with the companies. I don't think big pharma. We are not putting in risk the big pharma at all. So I don't think they are just doing big things against us.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. Let's go a little bit back to the...
Let me say that I disagree, because we have some information from pharma industry saying that they are a little bit angry that they have to make clinical trials, preclinical phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and they don't agree that cannabis wants to. They agree if the companies spend money in clinical trials and demonstrate and get as a medicamento, as a registered. But the reality is that this is not going to happen, because another important thing is that the companies, they are not investing anything in clinical trials and observational studies in Spain, because they are trying to survive, and also the big cannabis companies, they are focused on other markets, so Spain is not a priority because they already know that it's not going to happen. So from the perspective of the patients, the companies who are in Spain, they don't invest money, even to make a small clinical observational study that it can be 200K, they don't want to, or they cannot invest this money, so it's a little bit too much. But it's true, and I can assure you that pharma industry said that if cannabis want to be considered a medicine, they have to do the same way, that they are not going to be shortcuts for this. So they made a strong pressure. And also from just pharmaceuticals, there is a strong pressure too. So it's true there is a strong pressure as we receive it from some. Yeah.
Okay, funny. So we have two positions here, but let's keep on the discussion about the patients. So you are saying this. I mean, we have like 1,000 cannabis clubs in Spain. Probably it's like 500,000 people that is associated to this type of clubs.
Yeah, but how many tourists are in the social clubs?
Well, I don't know, but just talking in big numbers,
Okay.
Probably like minimum 20% of those people that is associated to clubs is using the cannabis on medical purposes. We have also, I don't know, because it's difficult to estimate how many patients are doing home growing, because they decide is the best option.
It's the best option.
And you are saying that there is no interest on invest on clinical trials, because it's true that you need to present the expedient, you need to develop the clinical trial, then you need to wait around 2 years and then start to commercialize that product, that in any case is going to be a type of isolated product or something that...
No, but for example, we were trying, and everything was approved to make a clinical trial in Spain for pain, and the company, when everything was ready, the company just stepped back due to budget issues. So the agency didn't say no, the issue is that we have to go in a way, and some people want to take shortcuts. So if there is no, these are the rules in Spain, and these are going to be the rules in Spain. So if the people want to follow the rules, they will be on the pharmacies and they will be given to patients. But so many people want to find these issues. So I think this is another big step, that the companies need to have some budget to and for the patients, because this is the only way that is going to work. And now with the formulas magistrales in the government, that we are going to receive as patients, we are only going to receive some oils with only 4 pathologies, for example, in pain as last line of treatment. And yeah, I don't know, but for me, it's super hard as patient to receive cannabis after ketamine, for example. I would prefer to use first maybe some soft opioids, because I understand that point of view, but then before neurostimulators and ketamine, maybe we can go to cannabis, no? But they are going to put it very, very hard for us. And also we have to take care of another thing, Iker. Not all the regions are going to have the same. You know, I think that depending where the patient lives, is going to receive the treatment or not, because of political decisions, because the issues from health are derivated into the region. So we already know that the conservatives are going to say no, at least in Madrid.
It seems like if we will be like United States, Spain will be like Alabama or something like that, no? One of the most conservative states, and the probability that this goes better, or a better efficiency access program for patients, is mostly, no, a chimera.
I hope that the people will 200K is not that much for a company to be selling in a market with 46 million patients, with 20% of the population sick. So I think if something is a little bit clever, And if something really wants to come to Spain, the door is open. We have some societies of neurologists, pain, oncologists that they want to do things, but we have to do things in the way that the agency and the minister want to do it. But if we don't have the budget, we cannot do more.
Yeah, but there is something that we are in a circle that is difficult to cut. The question is that when you try to enter in this big indication, like pain or whatever, the cohort of patients that you need is huge.
No, 50 patients.
With this, never.
No, Pablo, we did it with 50 patients.
Yeah, but with this, they will never authorize a new marketing authorization.
They said yes. The only thing is that they wanted, this is what the agency told us, and the Society of Pain.
But the reality is that we have to find another way to do it, not with a typical marketing authorization like any other medicine. Otherwise, they will ask for many patients, for many clinical, for toxicity, for many things that is huge.
Yeah, but it's also for cure, it was not that big. They are not asking for too much. They are asking for something, and nobody is giving anything.
Okay.
In any case, it's a long road, the clinical trials. It's hard to invest on that, and probably the agency is going to take a lot of time to approve, because OIS for Cures, for example, it's been like 5-6 years.
Yeah, but we did it in 1.5 years, because they made the ice breaking, and then we came, and it was only, and because the Society of Pain was a little bit slow making the documents and everything, but the agency say yes. The issue is that when the companies don't want to invest and they step back, then you...
So then what you are what the agency is suggesting is that they need national evidence on cannabis.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been telling this for a long time, so you are suggesting that probably if the industry or the companies that we are involved in the medical cannabis, we should develop or start to develop this type of clinical trials to show the evidence, something like that?
Yeah, but I mean that we don't have to make these big clinical trials with millions. What we see is that there is a gap, that we can do it with a small number of patients, and they just want to be sure and to share to the rest of the industry, pharma industry, that we are doing research. But with that research, what we are going to achieve is these products in the pharmacies, in the hospitals, with this waiting list, and we cannot move forward if there is no, for example, with the flower, if we make an observational study, blah, 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 they are open, but no one is investing, no one has the money, and we are not a priority Spain for the companies who has these budgets.
Okay, let's jump to the next block. We will finish, I will make you a proposal with the clinical trials and everything that add a few doubts still on that, but let's talk a little bit about, because we have around 10 minutes more. Let's talk about the license. It's obvious that there is a difference between Spain and Portugal in this AECAME, the Association of Entities that are authorized to grow medical cannabis, is going to develop in June a symposium to put in evidence the difference between the regulatory aspect between Portugal and Spain. I've seen a huge evolution from the first license. When we started, we was like only 4 companies authorized to grow cannabis. Now we are around 20, but still, like you are saying, there is only 5 on the final stage for commercial. From those, just 2 are selling products. And we have also like around 15 companies doing research. Not 15, maybe are 10, and 5 are institute or companies and public institutes related. It's obvious that they don't want to expand the more companies operating in Spain. It's true at the same time that the companies that we've been running will learn to dance with the agency, and if you do and you present a good documentation, everything, that they are happy to support the companies. But which one is the status? Why we are in this point with the license? Or maybe we arrived late, or maybe the agency said like, okay, we have Portugal, let the people invest and fail in Portugal, and let's try to block here in Spain as much as we can. Even in Farmed now, the last years is getting more and more strict as well, maybe learning from our agency. But which one is your point of view on this situation?
it's very different what it has happened in Portugal and in Spain. I think the point of, sorry, the point of view of our agency is quite different. The question is that they want to have everything under control, and they want to control in the same way as they were controlling the other narcotics in the past. And our industry needs a little bit more of freedom to develop. That means if you have to have to have contracts, quality agreements, everything in place before started the activities, with not just with your suppliers and with your customers before even start. It's very difficult because nobody has evidence that you are able to do the things properly. So the level of process that you have to get this authorization is huge. Now I think they are more and more understanding what the industry is moving and how are we producing, and they are taking confidence on what we are doing, because there have been for many years, company that has been working with them, and they are starting to open and to change their mind. But the way they regulate it is very, very restrictive. In Portugal, you can produce and then you can sell to whichever you want. In Spain, not. You cannot produce if you don't have any customer before. In Portugal, you can cultivate with GACPs. In Spain, you cannot do it if you don't have GMPs. In Spain, it's very difficult to think in a company of service that just transform, flowers into final product. It's very difficult to think on the model of business here in Spain because the regulation is tough. In Portugal, you have many, and they are they are quite successful in. It is a pity because Spain has all the conditions to be one of the biggest producer or cultivator in the world. We have the weather, we have the technicians, we have the research that it is huge in Spain, not just in clinical, but also in growing. We have everything, but they are not supporting us as we would like.
Normally we say, like in Spain, it's more easy to move 1 gram of fentanyl than a gram of cannabis.
It is.
And it's sad, but it's the reality that is really complex. So also we have, just to mention, other problem is with the genetics, all the work that the genetics companies needed to develop here. In Portugal, you can import seeds for any distributor. Someone that buy and sell seeds, you can buy those seeds and start a phenohunting program. In Spain, the agency don't allow this. So everything must come from the breeding programs. And it's good because we have like 5-6 genetics companies doing amazing work on the breeding program, and it's bringing new products that are going to be growing in other countries, and still we have difficulties to implement here.
Yeah, and we are. This is something that we are facing every day, and we are in the association. We have some of the memberships that are having this problem, that they cannot import genetics for foreign, and they cannot make their job because they are not allowed to do it.
So let's jump to the last block that we speak a little bit before about the clinical trials. Yeah, at the end is what I see, for example, in Germany is like, I don't know how to explain this, but it's difficult how we consider the cannabis like a medicine. I mean, it's a wellness product. So what is happening, for example, in Germany is that the doctors a little bit are tired of prescribing to people that was user before, that they use flowers, and we can say more than a medicinal, is a therapeutic use. So, no?
Yep.
Other type of medicines, normally you don't use the whole flower. Normally you use the isolated apis for, no, whatever disease or whatever. So in this case, it's true that it's difficult to, no, to try to convince to the agency that the flower has a medical potency and purposes. So which one is your vision about, no, how we see the cannabis? No?
Okay, I just want to say first about Portugal that there are so many licenses, but patients still are in the black market. So at the end, the companies want to profit. They have been using our pain, our work to get the loss, and then they forgot about the final client or the final purpose. On the other side, I want to be positive and say, hey, this is a first step in Spain. It cost us 10 years, no? We put the door we put the feet in the door, no? As we say, the first step. And then what I will propose to everybody is that Spain is a huge market, that the agency now is more open. In the case of flowers, they told us that if we come with a project, clinical project, that they will help us to develop. But no one came with the money and the purpose to do it. So, as I said, Spain is a huge market. We are the first country on using of benzos. Loles was saying that in her last presentation. We are the third country using opioids. And we can develop a very good system, but we need some investment. So I see companies spending a lot of money in the ferias, in the Cannabis Europas, ICBCs, and all these budgets, facilities, everything is important. But why cannot we take some money to try to make this happen? Because the agency didn't say no. The agency said, okay, bring me a project and we will do it. So it's time for the companies who want to come to Spain to spend a little bit of money to a very big market. And if we can demonstrate that the flower with a medical device is worth it, they are open. They are open. But no one came with a project and said this. But they said, yes, we are open. In the last meeting with Maria Jesus Lamas, she told me, Carola, I'm not against. You have to demonstrate me that there is clinical evidence, and then we will open.
So let's jump to the last hypothesis. I think we have not so much time. But so then, I agree with you. They are open to show the evidence.
Yep.
Probably they are also. Probably I think as well that the companies, or most of them, they are waiting for the decree. What happened with that law. My opinion is that the law is not going to work and is designed to fail. Not to implement that. So I don't think it's outside companies. I think at least in Spain, few of the companies, we are exploring how to jump to this. No? But for example, in my case, I've been involved with like 8 years on the medical cannabis industry, but I've been like another 20 years involved in the cannabis policy reform on the cannabis social clubs, like in amazing and scientific demonstrated tool of harm reduction. So let's say about this hypothesis, which one is both your opinion, with this we will close, but I think I was talking about that 500,000 people using cannabis via media, the clubs. On there, probably 20% are for medical reasons. So we are talking about 100,000 patients. We are talking also that this decree and everything that probably the regulation is going to come as well to the communities. So could be possible to explore a clinical trial or pilot access program like is happening in Germany or Switzerland, where we take these patients that are inside of the clubs, that as well they have a soft addiction to the cannabis, but at the same time they are using the cannabis for therapeutical reasons. So you think could be a hypothesis, potential hypothesis on create a pilot program to access to this type of people? This as well the agency will say yes, because I would love to see it.
I would love to see it too, but to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen. But let's see. Also, it depends on how much pressure we do, how much we work on this. And I think Pharmaforum is going to be another interesting, because it's going to be in September. We are supposed to have the royal decree before summer. So I think we can have all more information about what's going on. But we are also making a master in the Complutense University with neurology, societies of pain. We have also to bring the medical community, the physicians, because for the moment, they are not into this. So I think there is a lot of work to do, but we make the first step. It's really important because it was about to fail so many times, as you know it. And from now, we have to go on. We have to work. We have to make as much science. And it's really terrible that the science in Germany is not valid in Spain, but these are the rules. We have to play with them. And I think that because they understand it, that's why they said that we have this facility. They are going to make it easy for us if we go with an hospital or with a society Spanish of pain, or neurologists, oncologists, whatever. But I'm seeing a change because we are all the time in our bubble, no? But when you talk with the people outside and I don't know, the pharmaceuticals, for example, they fought a lot to have cannabis in the pharmacy. So we are making steps little by little, but I think that we achieve a lot and we still have a lot to do. I want to be optimistic, and I think now we have to work for the patients with clinical evidence and just invest a little bit to take all the cake.
Pablo, last words?
I also would like to finish positive. I think, as you say, they are changing and they are moving very slowly, but they are moving, and we have to keep pushing. We need to get from them a framework to develop everything, because it is very nice to do clinical trials, but if at the end of the day you cannot get a marketing authorization to commercialize this, industry is industry, and industry, I'm sorry, but you know that they will put...
Yeah, but they will give it in the hospitals. They also talk about making some issues with volcanoes in hospitals. Why not?
What I say is that step by step we will develop things together with the science, together with the physicians, together with the hospital, together with the agency, because as you say, the market is there.
Yep.
There is a huge market, and everybody wants to get a piece of cake of this cake. So, but it is not. It's something that it will not happen just with this royal decree. It's something that it will not happen in months. But why not? We have to keep pushing, and we have to keep working for getting in years, and I hope not too much.
But maybe the money don't have to come from Spain. Maybe there are some other companies that can... and I see a big company in Spain saying, I have all my flowers sold, so why I'm going to care? Because my business plan is done. So I think this is a little bit cruel to hear from the perspective of a patient. Thank you.
So thank you so much for your overview. We are going to take time for a couple of questions. Yeah, it's good that you feel nearly positive with this dark space in Spain. Hopefully, provision partners can change the predictions of incomes.
Hi, it's Alex from Canada. Very interesting hearing this again, Corolla. Listening to this conversation last year, it saddens me. I was hoping to hear something a little more progressive after with the royal decree, but I wanted to share that this feels like a conversation 10 years ago in Canada, where the business was saying we need investment to be able to do it, and the patients are saying we need to do it in order to get investment. What we found in Canada is we were able to do some observational studies, like on smaller groups, where we showed some positive signs, and then when some positive signs were shown, then they were able to get more investment. But it makes it very difficult when the companies have no money, where they're trying to even stay alive, to convince them to invest. So we need to get some more partnerships from the government and convince them and show them how in Canada the governments are making stupid amounts of money, too much, but there's a way to where we can make some decent amount of money and actually be able to fund these types of projects and working with universities as well. So just wanted to kind of say that. Hopefully we'll hear some better progress next year, and thank you all for working so hard to make this happen. It happened for us, and we had the same types of battles, so it's nice to see, and hopefully we'll see more positive for next year. Thank you. Just a comment.
I would love to add, if I can, that now the clinical trial glioblastoma is already in course. We have the first results right now, and it's working. You know, for Manuel and Guillermo, it takes 9 years, but now things are going to be shorter, and the cost was not so high. So this is what I want to say, that we can do it, that just the companies have to invest a little bit, and we will have all the strength that we have, we put it on the disposal of everybody who wants to invest a little bit, just to make our quality of life better and not having the black market. Thank you.
We have a last question on this panel.
Well, it's not really a question. It's just, it's very emotional as a physician that has been working with medical cannabis in Spain to be in the moment we are. But I guess going on the direction you're pointing out, is the government's responsibility from the public health view to provide evidence of the safety and the efficacy of this tool for the people that actually get the best results from this medicine, which is difficult to treat epilepsies, the pediatric patients that are not really able to use flower as medicine. Those are the people that we need to fight for, because those are the people that cannot speak, really. And that comes with autism, that comes with rare to treat diseases, rare genetic diseases. Those people have no one to represent them. So I guess now, more than ever, we need to keep on fighting. I think now is when the hardest times are coming. So I'm willing to invite you, all the people that are willing to stay in Spain, to live in Spain, to live in Barcelona. This is the time where we really need to fight for what we believe in.
Yeah. Mary, I would love to ask here that in our last meeting with the government, we wanted to present our data with 3,000 patients, saying what cannabis did they use with the cannabinoid terpene profiles, which way of administration. They didn't take the data. They are not interested in the data. They want new data from in this framework. So it's a pity, because we did a hard job with scientists to have this data. 3,000 patients, most of them women, is a lot. They didn't want to receive the data, so it's super sad.
Okay, thank you for everything. Let's jump to the next panel, no? Maybe we spend.
Muchas gracias a todas, a todos. Muchas gracias, Carola. Antes de presentar el siguiente panel, I want you guys to know that there's already a translation available, so this panel will be in Spanish. So anyone who wanna pick over one of the things we can use for translate, so welcome to be, the table is outside, you just have to leave an ID, and we're gonna take a few minutes meanwhile you are doing that. If so, anyone who wants translation, this panel will be in Spanish, so make sure you have your translator on.